This is even better than we thought. Huge Devils update regarding the salary cap coming up for next season, and some decisions will have to be made on the roster by GM Tom Fitzgerald. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Devils Digest. I'm your host, Ryan the Goose Gosiker, here with you, having some fun talking about the latest and greatest Devils content. And one of the things we got to talk about is the salary cap for next year. It is going up. It is going up significantly. So we're going to have some fun talking about that. What the Devils should do, what they should look to do, and how they might offload some money in order to really be big players in free agency. So again, welcome into Devils Digest. I want to give you a chance to be a subscriber to the channel. Please go out there, be a subscriber. I believe we're up over the 240 mark right now. But I just want more and more people to be subscribers to Devils Digest, because this is your home for all the great Devils content. And Aiden Barrett does an excellent job, as my colleague does an excellent job. So check out some of his stuff. But let's get into the show today. The Devils are a team that's going to benefit tremendously from a salary cap increase, which I believe they're saying is around $7.5 million. I thought it was a little bit higher than that, but nonetheless, certainly a great pay raise for New Jersey in terms of the cap. Now, a lot of what the Devils have going for them necessarily is that, one, we think that Luke Hughes' extension is just going to be taken up by the increase in salary cap. So basically a net zero for New Jersey. And then, I think there are some contracts they can look to get off of. So let's get right into the show, right into the program. I'm going to say right off the bat, and we'll get to Haula in a second, this is the name. This is the name you keep hearing. This is the name everybody's talking about right now, is Ondrej Palat, and you see that cap hit number of $6 million. He's a restricted free agent, not until 2027. So the Devils would have to buy him out of that contract. I think it's a worthy buyout in this situation, because I just think you cannot have, I know I've heard about the intangibles, and believe me, I was on that bandwagon when he first got here. I said, man, this guy's a playoff performer. He doesn't have to score 20 in the regular season. Just make sure he's ready to go for the postseason. And he does do some intangible and some dirty work. I just feel like their $6 million would be better off being spent somewhere else. And someone maybe that has a higher scoring capacity that also does some of the dirty work. So a little combo of both. We know Jack needs a winger. He needs a better winger on the other side. So, do you potentially look to buy out Palot in hopes to get a winger with that money and potentially some extra money as well? So, we'll have to see. But this is the first move I'm making if I'm Tom Fitzgerald, is I gotta find a way out of this contract, out of this $6 million cap hit for the next 2 years. Really, they really need to find a way to get out of it. The second name I would look at is Erik Haula, and I think this one will get a little bit more pushback, and I think there's varying opinions on this, because, again, I think we were sitting here in February, the guy hadn't scored in 2.5 months, and we're all like, yeah, actually, we would get rid of him. But then he played better down the stretch of these games and down the stretch of the regular season and into the postseason, so I think it's kind of gotten him off of some people's backs. So I think some people would say, he's just got 1 year left, keep him. He can kind of be like, you know how they have the captain of the second group for the NBA, the sixth man, not even necessarily the sixth man, but the guy that runs the second unit. I kind of feel like the fans that want to keep Haula feel like he can be that for the bottom six. I don't agree with it. I think it's time. I appreciate what Haula's done. I know he hasn't really stuck around a lot of places for more than a year, so I appreciate what he's done for this team and for this organization. I just think it's time. I think if you can get those two off the books, you're looking at having $9 million, depending on what the buyouts would look like. But certainly that would be $9.1 million coming off the books, along with some of the guys that are free agents, like a Lazar, a Bastian, some of those guys that, who knows what they decide to do. I've said it. I would bring, I think Lazar, I would bring him back on a 1 year deal. I think you get him very cheap. And I think we should see if he can go, if he can go a season injury free, because I think last year that was the big hold back was those injuries. You heard him talk about popping the pills, which is unfortunate, because in an athlete, I know what that what that look like. I can visually see what that looks like in terms of what he had to do every day just to get on the ice, let alone try to play at a higher level. So, but nonetheless, I would look to get out of the Erik Haula deal. I understand the people that want to keep him. I don't agree with you. I think we should get rid of Erik Haula. I think we should look to get out of his contract. Now, will they? Will Tom Fitzgerald pull the trigger? I don't believe so. Now, I do just want to give you a synopsis of the Devils' defense. I'll get to that in a minute, actually. But another name that's become increasingly popular of the Devils should get rid of is Dougie Hamilton. And I think this is a minority part of the fan base. I just want to put that out there. I do not believe a majority of the fans are saying get rid of Dougie. However, there is a clog on the right defense. We've been talking about this for a while. Okay, it's something I would not entertain. I would keep Dougie here. First of all, what Dougie means to the community is exceptional. I think he can be better next season when he's healthy. The other thing is, you got to remember, Dougie Hamilton was the first free agent to pick New Jersey. He picked Jersey, okay? No big free agents came here. Don't even get me started on the Kovalchuk stuff, okay? Dougie was the first big one that wanted to come here in this, right? The Devils were so bad for so long, right? That stretch there, I mean, it's not even necessarily so long, just they were so bad. They get a monster free agent, and that free agent was Dougie Hamilton. So I'm just providing you his cap hit and how many years he's got left. I would not even entertain the idea of moving on from Dougie this offseason. I do understand there is a minority of the fan base that would like to see it or is open to it. I don't see it happening. I don't think the Devils entertain that at all. I think they want to keep Dougie around, and they love the work that he's doing on and off the ice. So whether that's right, wrong, or different is up to you. I'll let you comment on that in the comment section. Leave us a comment. What do you think? Okay. But going to the Devils' defense, this is the salaries. You can see on the right is next season. On the left is this season, what their salary cap hit was. Obviously, a guy like Brenden Dillon is an unrestricted free agent. Luke Hughes being restricted. And Cholowski being unrestricted. If they bring back Dennis Cholowski, you're going to get a very angry Ryan on these videos. I'm just going to warn you now. Especially with the talent that they have on this roster. You see Kovacevic, his salary is obviously going to jump significantly. So that's going to factor into how much salary cap space they have left. Siegenthaler, obviously, I think I was sitting in the spot last year going, man, $3.4 million for what? And then he came out and he was statistically, he was a top 3 defenseman in the entire National Hockey League. So I think that salary stays on the books. The Dillon salary is interesting. I'm really intrigued to see what this injury turns out to be. I know he's saying he's optimistic for training camp, but with the neck and the spine, it's very tricky. And those injuries can change in a heartbeat. You hope not the worst. The worst would be he'd have to retire, which obviously would be good for Devils cap. It would not be good for the Devils overall. And we want to think about the human being here. It would not be good for Brenden Dillon. So, but at a $4 million cap hit, but you got to look at him, if they get these pairings, right? When they were healthy at the beginning of the year, these pairings were exceptional and they worked so well together. You had, 2 of the 3 pairings, I think, were in the top 5 of the NHL at one point. So, this team needs some consistency amongst this group. Now, what they do with Seamus Casey and what they do with Shimon Nemec, is going to be very, very interesting. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with this roster. However, what I will say is, so we ran through a couple of players. Again, Palot, I would look to move on from. Hall, I would. Dougie, I would not entertain. Okay, here's the salaries of their defense. Now, what saves this team is the salaries of their big guys. Look at this. Timo Meier's contract adjusted for inflation. Timo stinks, this, that, and the other thing. That's a whole different video. But look at this contract. By the time the contract's over, based on how much the cap is going to go up, his contract's going to be worth almost $6 million by the end of it. And if you go to a guy like Jesper Bratt, it's the same thing. So the Devils did such a smart job in locking these guys up long term. It's very important for them salary cap moving forward because now it's basically set. And if the salary cap continues to increase, those contracts continue to look cheaper and cheaper. So the Devils have tied up, the top guys. Although Nico needs a new contract in 2 years. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Devils cannot let him go. Okay, so they'll secure that. But Jack, Jesper, Timo, these guys are signed long term. So they're taken care of. It's up to Tom to fix the rest of this roster because he has to, right? Those are his words, not even necessarily mine. I mean, I would say them too, but his mantra was that this season wasn't good enough. This roster will not look the same. Now, if you're looking for potential other pieces to move, you're talking about Dawson Mercer makes $4 million a year. And again, I read the comments, guys. Like, I know Dawson Mercer is more of a fan favorite necessarily than I'm giving him credit for, but his name's been linked in a potential Quinn Hughes deal. Like, how does that affect everything? So the Devils have a very interesting offseason coming up. So, and we can't wait to bring you the greatest content here on Devils Digest. Get you ready for that entire offseason. Me, my colleague Aiden Barrett, just hope you love the channel. And I just want to shout out a couple comments we got on the last video that I did. Paulie Walnuts-8 is a new subscriber to Devils Digest, so welcome to the club. Appreciate you. And James Cassidy 1655 left a lengthy comment about the last video, and he said he watched the video after teaching English to school kids in Hungary. So we're really reaching everywhere. So Devils fans everywhere, we appreciate you. We want you on the channel. We want you to subscribe to the channel, okay? And we want you to leave us a comment. What do you think? Do you hate what I'm saying? Do you love what I'm saying? Let me know. It's all part of it, man. It's a lot of fun to talk to you guys. Whether you're listening, watching, doing both, doesn't matter. We love you. Devils Nation. Keep coming back to Devils Digest. We got the latest and greatest content for you. So we are going to wrap this up. Lots to go for the Devils in terms of the salary cap and everything like that. We'll be on a lot more stuff as the offseason continues to roll on. So we'll catch you next time on Devils Digest.